Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Bann. Today's coffee is Bean Around the World, Apple Pie. And today's topic? The Nintendo Wii. Because I like the Wii. Interesting. It's quite interesting. I don't know how to describe that. Okay. It's not bad. Sorry, right. So, this is my personal Wii. I have had it since probably a couple of years ago. My family Wii is behind the camera and in substantially worse condition. And that one we've had since 2017. So I am kind of a little bit late to the Wii party, not to be confused with the game Wii Party. I was not... I mean, I kind of... Okay, so my brother had a Wii since launch, I think. Or at least since around launch. And I got to play on it occasionally. I particularly liked Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. But yeah, he would let me play on it occasionally, but not super often. So I didn't get a lot of opportunity to play Wii games until 2017, when my family was gifted a Wii, sort of. Or my parents gifted it to us kids after buying it off of my sister. Is any of this making sense? Anyway, okay, so... got a Wii in 2017. Immediately soft-modded it. Well, immediately as soon as we actually got it working, because we didn't have the sensor bar or video cables for a little while. So we weren't able to get it working until, like, February. I think. Anyway, as soon as I could, I soft-modded it. And... I don't know how I didn't destroy the thing. I was not a careful child. If I did anything, I went hard into it and oftentimes destroyed whatever I was doing. But the Wii? Still almost perfectly functional. The only real problem with it is the Wi-Fi chip, which seems to be pretty not great in a lot of Wiis. Anyway, right, okay. Wii, got it in 2017. One of the first games I played on it was Sonic Colors, which is a very good game, and if you haven't played it, play it! And, you know, obviously there's the remaster, Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is not great, but it's a perfectly serviceable way to play the game. Okay, I'm getting off track again. I need to figure out exactly what would... Words... Can you tell I'm off my medicine? Okay. We released in 2006. It was cool. And then pretty quickly it had a storefront that let you buy old games and downloadable games specifically for Wii called WiiWare. And, you know, the Virtual Console, which is the old games, and WiiWare were really cool, and you got some really great games that way for real cheap. Like, Imagine, if you will, a world in which you could buy, I don't know, what's an old NES game? Clue Land? For $5. Was Clue Land on Wii VC? I genuinely have no clue. Yeah, I miss that world, honestly. I miss back when, you know, older games were cheap and not a subscription service. Now, WiiWare is really cool. You got some original stuff like, Sonic 4 Episode 1, or Too Fast for Gnomes? Oh, and also, maybe one of the greatest games ever, SBCG4AP. I love Strong Bad School Game for Attractive People, but that's partially just because I love Strong Bad! And all of the Homestar stuff, and I'm getting off track again. Okay, right. WiiWare, cool. Play SBCG4AP. Wait, that's not available anywhere anymore, is it? Because Telltale shut down. I don't know that you can get it. Crap, okay. I guess if you can manage a way to play it legally, then get it and play it. It's incredible. Okay, right. So the Wii had plenty of stuff. Obviously, you know, with the Wii Shop there was a lot of good stuff and other stuff. But I'm not here to get into the whole WiiWare thing. I'm here to talk about stuff. I'm losing this so hard. Okay. So, despite all of that, though, you may notice the Wii has a disk drive. This is because it can play video games that aren't downloadable. It also has an SD card slot. A little bit more on that later. But the disk drive on the Wii allowed for some incredible experiences. Things like Mario Galaxy, Sonic Colors, I don't know, what else released on Wii? Oh, the Wii series. Like, I already mentioned the Wii series at least a little bit. Just a whole bunch of simple pick up and play games. You didn't need to worry about, like, figuring things out, mostly. Things like Wii Sports, the de facto game always bundled in with the Wii. De facto? That's probably not the right word. Default, that's the word I was looking for. It was the default game bundled in with the Wii. And what a game it was! I can't think of a single person who has used a Wii who didn't like Wii Sports. And if they exist, shush. Right. Wii Sports emulated sports. Shut up. Things like Wii Party, which was basically Mario Party, but without the Mario part of Mario Party. Or Wii Play, a collection of just cool little minigames. You know, stuff that was fairly understandable and meant to show off the power of the Wii Remote. That's what I'm forgetting. The Wii Remote. This is a really weird controller. So you probably know the GameCube controller, and if you don't, yeah, okay, fair. It was, in most ways, a normal controller. A little bit of a weird layout, but I don't know, it was fine. There wasn't anything too confusing about it. But for Nintendo's next generation, the Wii Remote is fascinating. What a choice! You hold it like this, with one hand! It's certainly a way to play games. Or you could hold it like this, because, you know, with the buttons, it's basically an NES controller with a couple extras. And then, not only that, well, okay, so it could be used as a remote, it could be used as a gun, because, you know, light guns were a thing previously. And this back B button here, I didn't mean to hit that. This back B button here could be used as a trigger, so it could be used as like an NES zapper equivalent. But then, for games that maybe needed a little bit more than this, there was always the port on the bottom, which, let's just say, let's say, nunchuck. Spelled without a C. The nunchuck could plug into that bottom port, and it would give you an analog stick and 2 extra buttons, thus making it basically equivalent to, I guess in theory it's probably equivalent to an original 3DS in terms of what controls it has, or how many controls it has. It's got the analog stick, C and Z here can be mapped to L and R, A, B, X, Y, start, select, D-pad. Interesting. Anyway, okay, so analog stick on the nunchuck, and very basic motion controls, which, right, I forgot to mention the motion controls. This thing could also detect shaking and things, and that was neat, but it was definitely a gimmick. It was a silly gimmick most of the time. Worked great for Wii Sports, most other games did not utilize it well. Anyway, right, so nunchuck also had motion controls, but it feels too light to really work well. Also, this is not the proper design of a nunchuck. I don't know where I can find the correct nunchuck. This one I put a GameCube C-stick on. This is more what a nunchuck should look like. Ignore how disgusting it is. White analog stick rather than the yellow C-stick of a GameCube controller. Anyway, this works well for most scenarios that you might need to play games in. Words. This works fairly well for a lot of games, but it's not necessarily enough. Enter what else you can use this port for. The classic controller, which I don't have on hand at present, but it's a controller, all right. It's like if you grafted analog sticks onto an SNES controller. It's fine. It works fairly well for like retro style games or just straight up retro games, but like I don't want to play anything 3D on that thing. The sticks are too close together. My thumbs are gonna touch while playing. No. And also, it's just kind of too small. There are no thighs on it. Right. So okay. And if that ain't your style, the Classic Controller Pro, which I also don't have on hand, but I do have one as well. And that is like the Classic Controller with thighs. And it does basically the same exact thing as the Classic Controller. The Wii itself... Remember how I mentioned that it has an SD card slot? Well, guess what? That can be exploited. If you take an SD card, put certain files on it, pop it into the Wii, open the Wii Mail, because, right, Wii Connect 24 was a thing. I literally did not know of its existence until long after it died. But anyway, Wii Connect 24 was like a thing with friend codes and like, or no, it was like a separate service from Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, but like it did some similar things, but like I don't know, man. It's dead. That's all that really matters at this point. Anyway, you open a letter, boom, it mods the console fairly quickly. It is so easy. And that grants you access to a whole world of really cool stuff. Homebrew and emulators. I love homebrew and emulators. And backing up your legally obtained games. So you can play them off of like a flash drive or something without having to pop the discs in and out and all that. So, okay. Homebrew is really cool. Allows you to do so much interesting stuff. You can modify the home menu, which you couldn't do on a stock Wii. Nintendo has never really given the option to customize their home consoles. You could customize the home menu if you wanted. You could like run custom games, like I think one of them is called Neo Shooter or something like that. I don't know. I remember playing something like that, but my memory fails me. Right, but the real thing that I care that much about is emulators. The Wii can run a surprising amount. It has RetroArch. Don't use RetroArch on the Wii. It is not powerful enough. The thing is basically two GameCubes duct taped together. Or like an overclocked GameCube with twice the RAM. Which, by the way, is not a lot of RAM. The GameCube had like 40 megabytes and the Wii has 88. Compare that with the 360, which had 512 megs of RAM. Yeah, the Wii was not going to be called a powerhouse. I know that RAM is not the only way to describe the power of a device, but like, it's at least a fairly solid starting reference point kind of thing. Yeah, the Wii was not going to be powerful. It was going to have to do something completely different, and that was what the motion controls were rude. And that was what the motion controls were for. Was to do something different. So, the Wii can run a surprising number of things. It can even kind of run PlayStation 1 games. And N64 was officially part of Virtual Console. You could run N64 games on your Wii. And like, it can do NES and SNES and Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. And actually, there was a version of DSemuMe, the DS emulator, that was ported to Wii. And that is really neat, and it runs like doo-doo, but it's really neat that it exists. in terms of games, it was very good. It had, Mario Galaxy, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess at launch, I believe. And a month later it came to GameCube. It also got Skyward Sword. And, you could play the GameCube Wind Waker. And... actually, you could also play, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And you could play, Zelda's 1 and 2 and A Link to the Past. The Wii was capable of playing pretty much every Zelda up to that point. In some way, shape, or form, anyway. Oh, wait! Right. I didn't even mention the GameCube backwards compatibility. Or I did, but, I didn't really touch on it. It has GameCube backwards compatibility, assuming you have the correct model. There were 3 models released of the Wii. There was the original Wii, meant to be stood up like this. There was the Wii Family Edition, which was put on its side like this and had the Wii logo, sideways here or something. Or, actually, no, I think it was, right here. And then there was the Wii Mini, which got rid of any and all network connectivity, and it got rid of, I think, component output, which was really unfortunate. And it got rid of the SD card slot, and it only had 1 USB port, whereas all the other Wiis had 2. And, why? Why make it? Anyway, right, okay. So, moral of the story is, Wii Sports Bowling is the only game you need. You don't even need to buy anything else. And that has been Coffee with Bann. Still kind of a weird flavor overall. I don't know how to describe it.